Why, hello, LinkedIn. This is Drinks with Leaders, sponsored by Bestway International and Evardy Construction. So if it's hot outside right now, it's not as hot if you are the construction crew of Evardy Construction, because they're always getting work done, and it's getting delivered by Bestway International. So today, little shorthanded. Erin Fulk, amazing. She's got a son that just graduated her senior year of high school. So busy with all those activities, but do not worry. I am very horrible compared to what she does. But good news is we have great panelists that are waiting to come on. So if you are tuning in, I'm going to read it. So let us know where you're watching from. Feel free to chat it up in the comments section. Also, feel free to get a little PR. You know, when you comment on there, when the show goes in the rerun and you're looking at your phone and it's popping up, your name will pop up with Drinks with Leaders. So Chloe is here helping me on the backside with the technology, which I'm pretty bad about. And so she may be pulling up Paul Fogel's comment, which is amazing because he writes comedy for the show. But when she pulls up his comment, watching on the Atari 2600, Paul, I bet I didn't get that right. I'm the millennials, you know, I'm struggling here a little bit. But when Chloe starts playing the music, I'm going to start making introductions. So when she finds those tunes, I'm going to quit talking about Bestway International and Evardy Construction, and I'm going to talk about our guests that are coming on the show. Now, if it's feeling like summer right now, it's because it's getting a little bit hotter, but it's not as bad. I feel like this is one of the few times we've had a really long spring. And so I'm excited to welcome in our guest because we have one in particular. We don't want it to get too hot because it could trigger a lot of activity. So, Chloe, let me know if you're wanting to play that music, and then I will bring in our guest. There it is. Ladies first. Number one, Sofia. There we go. Number two, Dave. Dave, there we go. Dave, you got a fan in Paul Fogel here. He's already commenting here. But you know, we got to get this show on the road because Sofia, Dave rules, no big deal. Sofia, you got a lot cooking right now. A lot of buns in the oven. But tell us who you are, what you do, and how did you get to Kansas City?
Sure. Thank you for introduction, Scott. Really appreciate it. Who am I? My name is Sofia Dukes. Born and raised in Moscow, Russia. That's my motherland. And I moved to the wonderful show me state of Missouri in 2005 when I was 16 years old. And I came here to go to college. Ever since, kind of called Missouri and Kansas City my home. I've been here for 20 years now. A lot of people can't even tell I'm Russian anymore because my accent is no longer there and I changed my last name. But yeah, that's kind of what brought me in here. I always been doing business development and sales. That's kind of been my strong side. Got into that at Cerner shortly after college. Did a couple of different stints with different companies, and the world brought me to the world of staffing and recruiting about 3 years ago. So I'm currently with a company called QPS Employment Group. We're a staffing and recruiting agency, do everything from entry level, like general labor type of jobs, all the way to salary placements for engineering, IT, operations, you name it, and everything in between. What was the other question? Sorry.
So when you think of when a company wants to find a needle in a haystack, is there anything recently that comes to mind that's been a big success where you thought to yourself, there is no way we're going to find that position, and your team finds it?
Yeah, I mean, it happens all the time because before companies go to the extent of reaching out to outside partner like a recruiter, they try to do their own, right? So a specific example, I recently was giving an opportunity to offer help to one of my existing clients. We've been working with them in Liberty here, but they also have a plan in South Dakota, and they're in desperate need of welders there. And they were so skeptical working with us because they felt like they already turned every rock, and it hasn't even been a week of us working together, and we already set up at least like 4 or 5 interviews there. So I'm feeling very excited about this. it's really exciting to watch my team be creative and adjust their efforts when they're maybe hitting a dead end with certain like search that they have going on. They just never give up. They just kind of regroup. They put different hats on and they try to find new approaches, change their talk tracks, and generate more candidates that way.
So, Sophia, for you, how long do you felt like it took you being with your current employer where you really started doing well and things started coming a little bit easier?
I would say year two is when you have a really good, healthy ramp up in staffing. I mean, year one was great too. It was just a lot of learning with this job. I love my job so much. It's honestly, Scott, it's the most fulfilling job I ever had because not only I get to learn and expand my horizon from experiencing all sorts of variety of companies I work with, doing the tours, seeing the process of products being made on the back end and delivered and packaged, you know, all those things that regular consumers don't think about. Not only I do all that, but I also help others to get their career started. And it doesn't matter if you're an hourly employee looking for a $15 an hour job, or if you're an operations leader looking for 120K salary or higher, like we have opportunities for you. And I mean, I know money's not everything, but I feel like getting the right job at the right time in your life is one of the most pivotal moments that can change your life. And I'm here for every moment of that and helping others.
You're in the zone. That's a great answer. Dave, that's going to be tough to follow, but who are you? What do you do? And how'd you get to Kansas City?
Well, thanks, Scott and Aaron, who will be on to watch this later.
That's right.
So I'm David Leavitt, CEO of CXO Advisory here in Kansas City. I help business owners figure out how to make their companies worth a lot more money. And so what's interesting is most business owners work really hard, but their businesses are only worth what sometimes when they go to sell, maybe with the equipment or goodwill or some other items. But if you know what drives your real value in your business, you can typically increase the valuation 2 to 3 times. And that's what I do. I work with the owner on strategy, systems, and all the things that make the business truly valuable. And I started with a little known company in Wichita called Koch Industries out of college.
Oh, that small company.
And spent 14 years there learning their world-class approach. And then came to Kansas City to be a CFO for an equipment distribution company, and then ended up staying there for 20 years, eventually becoming their COO and vice chairman. But the funny thing is, you know, at Koch, all my relationships were internal. Everybody I knew worked at Koch. I knew a few people outside through relationships, but when I got to Kansas City, I really didn't know a whole lot of people, and I had to learn how to actually network and build relationships from scratch. That's probably the best thing that I ever had that happened to me professionally is working with trying to figure out my network and all the professionals I had to learn, attorneys and CPAs and the entire business community that I've gotten to know here.
So when you are talking to prospective clients, do you dove a little bit into that background, but I feel like, there's other projects you've done along the way. What are some of your favorite projects you've done that have helped increase the value of other companies?
So it's really putting a company, like in the last 3 years, I helped a company with a turnaround. Basically, it was a family office that needed somebody to come in. I came in as a COO, helped them establish the structure, put in the structure, people and the processes, and they had just acquired the business. And within 2 or 3 years, we actually were getting some offers from private equity companies and had increased the value by 3 times in a very short period of time. And it's about culture and getting right people. I mean, people are really number one in the whole process. So if you don't have the right people, you're going to really struggle.
I got you on people part.
Yeah, you're
Yeah,
excellent.
Dave, one of my favorite comments anyone's ever told me was when we were sitting down for lunch or coffee, and you're like, I just really, really want to help other people out, and I don't want to talk about my golf game every single day. And I thought that was hilarious. You're talking about your buddies. So for the audience, what motivates you to want to help other people?
Well, I mean, there's a storyline there that goes back a long ways, but so many people have helped me along the way, mentors, teachers, and then I also got involved in doing that myself. So it's it it's important to me that that I help people. I give back to the community. I mean, so many people have helped me in the community, so I feel like I really need to, step it up and give back. I like I told you, if I spend 3 or 4 days a week playing golf, I'll probably go stir crazy because it. I'll get bad for blood, but but my golf game's not that great. But I enjoy being around business people and especially younger business people that are, trying to figure out their way and how to get where they've been. And I've experienced a lot of good and bad, and so I think through that I could help people with that.
Sofia, maybe next week could be the most pivotal point in your life, but in your career, what is the most pivotal point in your career?
I would say coming to staffing and recruiting industry, 100%. I'd like to echo what Dave was saying also because there's just so many people throughout life that have taken a chance on me. Coming to United States at the age of 16 and having to Scott, my parents moved here 2 years ago now, right? When I brought them here. And so for 20 years, I had to navigate the system myself and trying to figure out what's what and how to get where I want to go. And it takes a village, and I had a really good village around me. And so it's really great to be able to give back to community and help others, right? But coming to staffing and recruiting industry, I was doing software before, and software is great, but when you get stuck in technology world, it becomes a little bit dehumanized. Coming to staffing and recruiting, it really opened my eyes a lot on how a lot of people live and function and operate out there, and the processes and procedures and companies and everything. It was just really eye-opening. So I strongly appreciate this opportunity and kind of look forward to growing and developing in that area.
So a little time has passed from 2 years, but if you are Gen Z and you're graduating college or you're not aware of what's going on in the world, what triggered your mom and dad to move? And then also, how is their English coming along?
Well, it's been a fun journey. As you guys know, there's a war going on between Russia and Ukraine, and it's been something that's been happening for a little over 2 years now. It's it really inconvenient, I guess that's not even the right word. It's kind of terrifying when you live so far away from your family and you can't even help them one way or another, even financially. Like I'm not able to send money there if something happens, so it was very important for us to be reunited. So they came here 2 years ago. My father, he was 69 when he moved here. We live in the big city in Moscow. I'm the first one in my family to own a car, learn how to drive, because in Moscow, you just simply don't have a need for it. It's kind of more of a headache to have a vehicle than like a privilege, So I taught my dad how to drive a car at 70 years old. He is a pro at that now. And they're learning, they're adapting, like they're self-sufficient now. Like I still have to help them and schedule some doctor's appointments here and there, but like I'm really proud of my parents, to be honest with you, because I mean, shoot, can you imagine like moving to a completely different culture with different language and everything, and the sunset of your life. Like that can be easy for them. So yeah.
One quick question before I go to Dave. Has your dad ever given you driving advice?
What kind of advice?
Driving
advice? No, he does
Okay,
not.
just checking. I feel it's like whoa, Dad, you just learned this 2 years ago. Take it easy. So
If anything, I caught myself just becoming a better driver because I have to lead by example, right? So it's like
funny, yeah.
those little areas where it's like, oh, it's a orange light. Do I go? Do I stay? Or like, might as well turn the cruise control of the speed limit instead of going a little over, and just keeping me more grounded, if anything else. So
it's like, well, Dave, there's more. You can have multiple answers, but if you had to think about it, what was the most pivotal point in your career?
Well, I mean, I know it's not going to be business for sure, but it all connects back. So when I was 37, I became a dad. And so it took us 10 years to have our son. And so that was definitely life-changing. So I toast all the dads to celebrate this weekend. I think is it this weekend?
Yeah.
Dad, Father's Day. Yeah.
That's right. If it's Father's Day, you don't know.
Sofia,
really
it's Mother's Day is every day. Father's Day is someday in June. So just make sure that your kids get reminded that.
That's right.
So I got involved in coaching with my son's teams and became an assistant scoutmaster. Paul and I spent a lot of times by the campfire, and I had to hear all those jokes you're talking about. So I did a lot of dad stuff. But I noticed there were kids who didn't have the support at home. My own dad died of brain cancer when I was 14. So I knew, what it felt like not to have a dad. And so I decided then at that point, you spend a lot of time trying to recovering for that. I spent too many years. And then finally I decided, I have my own son. I got everything's come full circle. It's time for me to get back. So I started volunteering to help kids with mentoring. And then I joined the board at Ozanam and then helped them merge 5 non-for-profits, use my finance background. And then I spent 10 years on their board, end up as a chair of the board.
Paul knows that he loves your jokes.
He had me, he had me at hello, I think.
And you're talking about merging 4 different non-for-profits into
there were 5 entities that were associated with Cornerstones of Care, and they all merged into one. And it was pretty controversial at the time, but I think it was the best move for them. And so I was one of there were over 100 board members between all the different entities, and I was one of 15, I think, that became part of the operating board of the new merged board, and then spent several years doing that, became the chairman of the board. But what I've learned is that having good mentors changes everything. I had a coach in high school, and I met him a couple months ago or last fall, and he's now living in Kansas City, Fred Teeter. And he believed and encouraged me as a kid from Western Kansas. And when I couldn't see my own potential, he was there encouraging me. And so I had coffee with him. I said, you made such a difference in my life. And so that's kind of what I'm trying to do, with that. My wife and I set up a scholarship fund for kids in Western Kansas that don't really have much of a chance. And so we're trying to help any way that we can. Now I get to do that for business owners who can't see that what their companies could become. And so that's where, that's why I started CXO Advisory, so that could kind of help companies get better.
Since I'm friends with you both, I'd recommend, if you had 2 coffees or 3 coffees, but you guys are both in the zone of delivering great answers and bringing it full circle. So Sofia, as you think about Kansas City, what can Kansas City do for you, and how are you doing so far on your goals for this year?
Well, first of all, I wanted to change my previous answer to what's the most pivotal moment in my career, it was probably meeting Scott Havens.
Oh, yeah, brownie points. There you go. Very nice to you. That was one of the points meeting you.
What Kansas City can do for me, honestly, Kansas City is full of opportunities as it is. You just got to be good at finding them. There's a lot of really exciting stuff happening in Kansas City from the growth and development perspective. In this last year, one of my goals was to expand my network and create some additional meaningful connections that I can be a part of for a really long time. And I got involved in Blue Valley Industrial Association, Kansas City Industrial Council, KCIC. Met some very interesting and just well-spoken, well-developed individuals who I think will really be great resources for me down the line. So to kind of, I don't know what Kansas City can do for me. I think that, like I said, the opportunities is there, and it's just a matter of approaching them, you know. My biggest goal for the year was to make a human, and I'm at like 99% accomplishing that. For the listeners, I'm at like 39 weeks pregnant today. So I'm excited to meet my baby girl next week. Yeah, I mean, business is growing. To be honest, Scott, I'm excited to go on maternity leave for 3 months and just disconnect from work, because I feel like I've been really working hard, and I'm just kind of need that recharge so I can come back strong and re-energized and do more good in this world for my clients and my candidates.
Well, I'm a really good friend to reach out to when you're about to go back, because I would assume, I don't know, but I know it's been very hard for my wife and her friends to get back into the swing of things after being home and lots of cuddling. So is this going to be the last recording before you give birth? Because, you know, your daughter could like Google mom 2025 and this was what's going to pop up.
I'm here for you, baby girl. I'm ready to meet you.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And, you know, like with my team, one thing I just kind of want to mention, because I did not know what ESOP companies were until I came to QPS, and we're 100% ESOP, employee owned at QPS. And it is so great, you guys, because I was nervous about leaving for maternity leave. Like 3 months is a long time for a salesperson to leave their territory. And it's like the anxiety thoughts of, oh my gosh, what am I going to do with my pipeline when I come back? You know, I have so much support from my team, and it's like everybody is like all hands on board. They're like, we'll stay in touch with whoever we need to while you're gone and keep everybody updated. And so I feel like I'm leaving things in great hands.
That's awesome. So Dave, you know, how are your goals going so far this year, and what can Kansas City do to help grow your business?
Well, it's actually going well. And so, I mean, I believe entrepreneurship can change lives anywhere in the world. So on the business side, I'm launching something fun this month called Whiteboards and Whiskey. Mm-hmm. And the idea is to bring business owners together in a relaxed setting, good food, craft cocktails, but we actually work on real business challenges. Picture working through a strategy on whiteboards while enjoying a great bourbon. And the goal is creating a space where successful business owners can step back from the daily grind and think strategically, learn from each other. That's the most important part of a mastermind setting, and share what's working, maybe solve some problems together. Don't get too excited, we limit the number of drinks, by the way. If you know business owners are growing but feel like they're always working in the business instead of on the business, I'd love to connect. You can find me on LinkedIn or my website, cxoadvisory.us. Kansas City has such a great entrepreneurial energy, and when you help one business owner succeed, it lifts the whole community. And I know, Scott, you and Aaron have done an excellent job. You exemplify this by having especially having me on today. So I really appreciate you taking the time to do that. And Sofia, I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you so much, Dave. I did send you a connection request and look forward to chatting.
Oh,
after
absolutely.
I come back.
Give you some time.
Are we delayed?
No, you're good.
We kept going. We're done.
Dave, do you have a threshold of like revenue for the company?
Can you hear me now?
Yes. We can hear you. You can't hear us. So I work with businesses 5 to 100 million, but I mean, my sweet spot's probably at 50 million and below, and mainly industrial companies because that's my background. And there are a lot of them, business service companies.
Makes sense. How's it going, Scott? Can you hear us? I think he just dropped. Well, I work with all sorts of industrial manufacturing companies. So if the opportunity ever presents, I will make some introductions for you as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Looky there. We made it just in time. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. You know what? We've had people do this show from Quick Trip parking lot. I've done it. I've interviewed the mayor, Quentin Lucas, from my bathroom with children and COVID. So I'm glad that I have two friends here. Even if there's bad connection, we're good. But, you know, Chloe, as you play the music in the background and we sign off, we just want to thank Bestway International and Evardy Construction for all their support. If anyone knows either of these two companies, they're everyone's favorite because they're so nice and they're so kind. So we're going to wave at the camera. And as we wave, Chloe's going to sign us off. And then the show will end.
All right.